In silent corners of Asia, from misty mountain towns to pulsing city streets, people are sensing a shift in the wind. Whispers of a new U.S. immigration crackdown ripple through embassies and living rooms alike. It's 2025, and the administration that once vowed a total shutdown may be gearing up for something even broader. This time, with Asia in its sights. What if your friend, your colleague, or your cousin suddenly couldn't enter the U.S.? Not for a wedding, not for school, not even for safety? From Kabul's war-scarred tea stalls to Yangon's flickering streetlights, a quiet fear grows. This isn't a dramatic proclamation. It's a shadow falling over lives mid-story. In this video, we dive into 10 Asian countries, some in conflict, others in confusion, facing potential bans from the United States. Stay with us, because what's unfolding isn't just political, it's deeply personal. And by the end, you might realize this story was never about borders. It was about people all along. Number 10. Afghanistan. Outside a dusty cafe in Kabul, former U.S. interpreter Sean Van Diver leans back, his voice weary. Today, he leads Afghan Evac, a non-profit helping Afghans once promised protection in America. But in June 2025, Trump's new executive order added Afghanistan to a list of banned nations, citing Taliban control and the country's lack of civil documentation. Van Diver calls it a betrayal. This ban punishes Afghan allies who were told we'd bring them to safety. His words hang heavy, echoing the silence left behind. This isn't policy on paper, it's heartbreak in real life. Around 200,000 Afghans who aided the U.S. remain trapped, their visas frozen mid-process. In Kandahar, a father watches his future vanish. In Herat, a student waits for answers that never come. While many have already been resettled in the U.S., thousands remain in limbo. A veteran counselor working with refugees says the mood is one of deep betrayal. For the people of Afghanistan, this ban isn't about terrorism, it's about promises broken and futures paused in midair. Number 9. Myanmar. In Mandalay's battered markets, whispers of a new ban travel faster than official news. 5 years after a brutal earthquake and ongoing internal conflict, Myanmar's people now face another unexpected blow. Being added to the U.S. travel restriction list in June 2025. The White House points to a 27% visa overstay rate and poor deportation cooperation. But for many in Yangon, it feels like history repeating itself. Win Hatain, a relative of Aung San Suu Kyi, called it a reopening of old wounds, a policy that hits pride more than policy. In tea shops across the country, people feel dismissed by a government that never truly engaged with them. We don't even hear much about the U.S., says a shopkeeper, but suddenly they've decided this for us. Many Burmese migrants working in Thailand fear they may never return home. Trump's rhetoric, linking Myanmar to his past Muslim-majority country bans, sends a chilling message. For families waiting on U.S. reunification, this isn't about numbers, it's about feeling forgotten. America's silence to them says everything. Number 8. Iran. In Tehran, a retired school teacher named Fatemeh clutches a faded passport stamped with a U.S. visa. She once dreamed of seeing her grandchildren in Los Angeles. But in 2025, Iran finds itself blacklisted once again under a Trump immigration policy, citing terrorism concerns. The administration labels Iran a state sponsor of terror, and with the stroke of a pen, thousands of families like Fatemeh's are locked out. Advocacy groups like NIAC warn the ban hurts American families just as much, splitting generations across borders. Despite some diplomatic talks, Iranian students, scholars, and families now face mounting visa denials. Over 12,000 Iranian students were enrolled in U.S. universities in 2024, building academic bridges that could now collapse overnight. In Isfahan, a young man learning English whispers, "It's not just a ban, it's a barrier between futures." The emotional cost cuts deep. For many, this isn't about politics. It's about weddings missed, children never hugged, and goodbyes said through static phone calls. And once again, ordinary Iranians bear the cost of a conflict they never chose. Number 7. Yemen. In war-torn Thais, where dust hangs heavy in the air, families have already lost so much. Now, with Yemen once again listed under Trump's expanded immigration ban in 2025, another door quietly closes. For Yemeni American Naguib Al-Amari in California, the news was devastating. Just as he secured a visa for his gravely ill daughter, the ban froze everything. "That's when I realized they may never make it here," he said. His story went global in 2018, a haunting example of real families torn apart by paperwork and policy. Back in Sana'a and Aden, daily life is already a struggle. Food is scarce, medicine rarer, and now even hope seems rationed. Though humanitarian parole programs still exist, many fear they'll be quietly cut off too. Critics call Yemen's inclusion a repeat of the same cruelty, punishing victims of war instead of helping them. A father of 4, standing in front of a shuttered visa office, simply asks, "What danger does my daughter pose?" For many Yemenis, this ban feels less about security and more like silence in the face of suffering. Number 6. North Korea. In a dim Pyongyang apartment, a hidden radio crackles with forbidden foreign broadcasts. For most North Koreans, the idea of traveling abroad, let alone to the US, is already a fantasy. Yet in 2025, that dream grows even fainter. While North Korea wasn't explicitly named in Trump's latest ban, experts expect it to be silently included if tensions escalate. The justification remains the same: nuclear threats, human rights abuses, and a long-standing freeze on US-North Korean relations. For defectors living in South Korea, the ban is more than symbolic. It's a severed lifeline. One Seoul-based pastor working with North Korean refugees calls it the migration mirage, a policy that bans people who were never really allowed to leave. And yet, families still hope. Volunteers leave warm meals and handwritten letters near the border, praying one day peace will get through. As one defector said, "We don't just travel through places. Sometimes the places we flee from stay with us forever." For North Koreans, that place remains locked, physically and politically. Number 5. Pakistan. In Karachi, young engineer Syed Abbas Haider stares at his phone, brows furrowed. Rumors swirl that Pakistan could soon be added to the US travel ban list. Echoing whispers first reported by Reuters in March 2025. For Haider, whose sister studies in Boston, the idea feels unjust and strange. Pakistan has long claimed partnership with the US, yet the growing stigma paints its citizens as suspects, not students or professionals. Behind closed doors, Islamabad's officials fear the impact on thousands of scholars and tech workers. Washington defends the potential move, citing Pakistan's internal struggles with extremism. Trump's past comments accusing Pakistan of doing too little to fight terrorism now resurface with new urgency. But for Pakistani Americans, the threat feels deeply personal. In Lahore, a grieving mother clutches tear-streaked letters from her US-based son, written after their family home was bombed. "They promised us safety once," she whispers. Now many in Pakistan wait under a cloud of dread, wondering if their next trip to a US consulate will be met with silence or a slammed door. Number 4. China. In the high-tech towers of Shenzhen, a quiet anxiety spreads. Though China isn't officially on Trump's 2025 travel ban list, the pressure is unmistakable. In May, the U.S. State Department began aggressively revoking student visas, particularly for those suspected of ties to the Chinese Communist Party or working in sensitive research fields. Nearly 300,000 Chinese students were enrolled in American universities in 2024. Now thousands face sudden expulsion or intense scrutiny. A Beijing graduate student studying in Boston was told his visa was revoked, with no warning, no appeal. China's foreign ministry has slammed the policy as discriminatory and destructive. But the fallout is deeply personal. In Shanghai, a researcher denied entry last winter said, "This isn't security, it's punishment." And in Guangzhou, a former diplomat's daughter quietly wonders if her dreams are simply too political now. She adds, "They say nothing's changed, but everything feels different." Once-filled classrooms now echo with unanswered questions. And as bridges of education collapse, a generation raised on hope for global connection feels abruptly disconnected. Number 3. Laos. In the misty markets of Vientiane, few expected their peaceful country to land on America's radar, let alone on a list of immigration restrictions. But in June 2025, the U.S. quietly imposed partial visa suspensions on Laos, citing vague patterns of visa overstays. Immigrant and student visas were frozen, while short-term travel was sharply reduced. For a country with minimal political friction with the U.S., the move felt more like an afterthought than a strategy. On the banks of the Mekong, an anthropology student stares at the proclamation, stunned. "Laos? We've never even been part of your problem," he mutters. Professors now tell students that foreign exchange dreams are on hold until further notice. The Lao Foreign Ministry remains publicly silent, but academic communities fear a deeper message, that even quiet nations are not immune to suspicion. In Luang Prabang, one teacher says it plainly. "We were forgotten for years. Now suddenly we're remembered. As a threat." In Laos, the ban feels not only unnecessary, but deeply confusing. Number 2. Turkmenistan. In Ashgabat, marble buildings gleam under desert sun, but the mood inside government halls is tense. In June 2025, the U.S. included Turkmenistan in its partial travel ban, citing a 15.35% visa overstay rate. For many, it felt like a policy from nowhere. The Turkmen Foreign Ministry responded swiftly, expressing extreme concern, and noting that Turkmen citizens are globally known for their law-abiding behavior. With international flights only resuming last year, the restriction feels less like prevention and more like punishment. Locals are bewildered. "We hardly travel, and now they say we travel too much," one university student quips bitterly. The real sting isn't in the paperwork, it's in the message that neutrality and silence no longer protect you. For families hoping to reunite with loved ones abroad, the visa freeze turns quiet anticipation into quiet despair. A journalist in Ashgabat sums it up best. "This wasn't about crime or danger. It was about being forgotten, until suddenly we weren't." In Turkmenistan, the migration mirage has taken a surreal new form. Number 1. Cambodia. In Phnom Penh, university campuses buzz with anxiety. Cambodia wasn't included in Trump's June 4th proclamation, but a confidential State Department memo now names it among 36 nations being evaluated for potential visa restrictions. The cited concerns include poor passport security, overstays, and weak deportation systems. To many Cambodians, this shift arrived without warning. For young students planning to study in the U.S., it's more than a political move, it's a future on hold. One hopeful engineering graduate tells us, "I saved for shoes, books, And now I wait on visas. Civil society groups worry that travel bans could damage Cambodia's fragile reputation as a peaceful partner. A local NGO worker notes, partially in disbelief, "We've never even been a concern, and now suddenly we are." For Cambodians, this isn't about global threats. It's about uncertainty creeping into everyday dreams. The stories you just heard, of visa dreams crushed and reunions postponed, aren't tales from history books. They're unfolding now, written in the margins of policy memos and consulate delays. A single executive order in Washington echoes through 10 nations and millions of lives. What's painted as a security strategy can easily become a wall between hope and heartbreak. And while leaders debate figures, ordinary people are left counting losses. A missed funeral, a vanished scholarship, a family split by red tape. We often think of travel bans as distant issues. But when a shopkeeper in Yangon or a student in Tehran loses their chance at a better future, the silence is global. So ask yourself, which moment hit hardest? Was it the defector blocked from freedom, or the mother denied her son's embrace? Let us know in the comments below. And if you stayed with us until now, you already know. This isn't just about policy. It's about humanity. And on this trail of discovery, the real borders aren't on maps. They're in how we choose to see one another.